Hello, America, and welcome to the Glenn Beck program and to the Blaze. Tonight I have a really special guest on that I want you to meet. Nick Vujicic. He is the author of Unstoppable, The Incredible Power of Faith in Action. Nick and I met a month ago?
Yes. And
he came into the studio, and if you don't know who he is, he has no arms and no legs. You may have seen the Butterfly Circus. You may have seen some of his incredible motivational work. You may have seen his book, Unstoppable. I remember the first time I saw him, you were married a year ago?
Mm-hmm. Well, 9 months ago.
9 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you were married in Hawaii.
Honeymoon.
Honeymoon in Hawaii.
Yes.
And I remember seeing in USA Today, I think, a picture of you on one of the front pages, maybe the life section.
Right.
And I started reading it, and I was like, oh my gosh, how come I've never heard of this guy? And then it had a picture of your wife, and we had a discussion. I'm sorry, we talked about you behind your back, but we had a discussion off the air of which one was more incredible, you or your wife.
We know the answer to that one. My wife, hands down.
But we thought you must be an incredible man to be able to get out of yourself and then be able to be married with no arms and no hands. You're not obviously not having a pity party, and she must be incredible because she's married a man who others would look and say, "What's he got?"
Exactly.
And then we met about a month ago, and quite honestly, I was nervous to meet you. I went to the front of the studio, and I have never felt more awkward in my life. And I waited for you in the lobby for about 10 minutes, and I kept putting my hands in my pockets and doing this and thinking, what do I do? What, do you shake hands? What? And you walked in, or you drove in, and you immediately said, give me a hug, and set me at ease.
Do you want another one?
Yeah.
I know we just had
another
one,
hug.
If you want another hug, you let me know.
Give me a hug. Let's hug it out. Let's hug it out. So I want to talk to you about all the way from how you got to be the man you are, from there all the way to you piss me off because you play golf. And my wife and I were talking about you, and we were talking about you're probably in better shape than I am, and that really makes me angry.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know.
But we should have a putt-off, man. We should get like a little green happening in the studio, and we should have a competition for fun.
No, I don't think my self-esteem can handle that. I really don't think so.
Right?
Okay, so let's start with.
I'm not that good. I just want you to know.
Yeah.
I just do it for fun.
Right,
but,
okay.
No, thank you for, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
So tell me your childhood.
Born in the most loving home that I could ever imagine. My mom and dad, as Christians, believe that God never makes mistakes, but they definitely were wondering, what happened when the doctors had no idea, first of all, that I was going to be born this way, and no idea as to why of this birth deficiency.
Your father passed out, did he not, at your birth?
He just about. As I was born, he saw my right or left shoulder, he said, and he saw that there was no arm, and he nearly passed out, left the room. Meanwhile, my mum saw the nurses starting to cry. She said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" My mum, being a nurse and a midwife, delivering hundreds of babies before I was born, she knew exactly what phocomelia was. And that's what the doctor said I had, and she knew that meant born limbless for no medical reason. They put me next to my mum's side without my dad in the room, and my mum couldn't touch me, my mum couldn't hold me. She said, "I don't want to even see him, take him away." It was just such a shock, it was a tragedy, so many emotions right there. And then my dad came back in the room, he saw I was gone, and he said, "Can I go see him?" So he came to see me. I think they put me in a nursery, and then he unwrapped me, and he saw my body without arms and legs, and he came back and he said, "He's beautiful." And so he took a lead of being that, father and husband to say, we're going to get through this one day at a time.
Your mother, though, didn't hold you for a while.
She couldn't even breastfeed me. She just felt uncomfortable. To put in her words, she felt like she was living in a nightmare, waking up hoping that this was just a bad dream. She went to so many doctors asking why, what happened, and it took her 4 months to actually come to terms with it and say, okay, here's my flesh and blood. I'm going to do my best. And,
do you have younger brothers or sisters?
I have a brother and a sister born after me. They were a little scared to have a second child.
I bet they were.
It took them, though, 2 years to be comfortable with it, about trying again.
How long did it take before they were, yeah, darn right. That's my son, and I'm mom, and I'm dad, and I'm okay with it. How long did it take before they...
I don't know where that point is, but where they embraced it and decided to never give up and do their best. My mum 4 months and my dad straight out of the gate. Both of my parents had wonderful parents. My grandparents on both sides told my mum and dad, if you're going to give him up for adoption, we'll take him before you do that. And they said, no, we're going to be okay. We have a huge family, a Serbian background. So I have 27 first cousins, and
wow.
They were all around me and, you know, loving me, just like Nikki, you know. I knew I had no arms, no legs, but I didn't think it was such a big deal till I went to school and started getting teased and bullied. And my brother and sister never treated me different. We were siblings, you know, wrestling and fighting as, you know, siblings do. But it was pretty difficult in those early years for both my parents and myself.
Was there a point where, I mean, you know, you say, you know, we were wrestling, et cetera, but you obviously, as a kid, couldn't brush your teeth.
Right.
Put your pajamas on.
Go to the toilet by myself.
Right.
Yep.
So when did it start on you, the mental game of, what am I going to do?
Yep.
I can't do anything.
Right.
When did that happen?
Well, my parents always planted seeds of love and encouragement and gave me an attitude of resilience in knowing that you don't know what you can achieve until you try it. They had no idea that I could really type on a computer until they gave me a shot.
You typed
43 words.
43 words.
A minute. Then I drink coffee, so after 2 cups of coffee, I can up it up to 53.
And you type with your toes?
My big toe, yeah.
You have 2 toes?
2 toes, so I can do the peace sign. You want to see it? Yeah. Peace. So, yeah, with my little foot, I've got a little appendage here, 6 inches long, and I drive my electric wheelchair and walk around and swim, golf, fish. I've done horseback riding. Did you hear I went scuba diving and skydiving?
No, again, stop it. Stop it. You just feel like such a slug around
but
you.
As a kid, you know, the doctors had no idea if I would ever be able to walk, and then I started walking, and then I started swimming. And
how did you get into a pool? What age were you when you got into a pool?
My earliest memories, I do remember floating, because my dad taught me how to float as a youngster. In the bathtub, that's how we started. Because I have no arms, no legs, I'm quite lighter than the average 29-year-old. And so, you know... How
much do you weigh?
I now weigh, well, when I met my wife, she cooks really good. And so I put on about 10 pounds of happy weight, actually.
Yeah.
Now I'm at 81.
Wow.
So, yeah, just having that attitude of saying, you know what, okay, maybe I can't do this and that, but I'm going to focus on what I can do.
Okay, but... you're making this sound awfully nice.
It's credit to my parents, though, because they never wanted me to feel sorry for myself.
Right.
So when they knew that I couldn't ride a bike, I got a skateboard. When I couldn't do what everybody else did, my dad pushed me to be smart in mathematics, so I was a year ahead in mathematics. And I loved chess, and I excelled in games like Monopoly, because I just like that stuff. So they were the reason why I had an attitude where, you know what, I can't do everything, but I'm going to do my best.
Okay, but let's go back here for a second.
But 8 years old is when I went to depression. That's where it happened.
Because you say your father taught you how to float in the bathtub, but it was in the bathtub at 8, wasn't it?
Age 8, I thought of committing suicide, and at age 10, I tried to commit suicide.
And you thought about it in a bathtub?
No, I thought about it all day before I went home. because of a whole day of bullying and being teased. Even though there were things that I could do and I wasn't depressed my whole childhood, there were some dark years because I didn't feel like there was a purpose to my life. And if I'm just living and existing with three burdens, number one, being ridiculed by the world, number two, being a burden to my parents, and number three, not looking forward to anything good in my life, thinking, well, wait a second, I'm not going to get a job, I'm not going to get married, I'm not going to be able to hold my wife's hand or carry my kids when they're crying. It didn't seem like life was worth living. That's how it felt. And I thought the only way out of my pain was to end it. And so I tried to drown myself in 6 inches of water, and I turned over 3 times, and the third time I rolled over, I thought of my mum and my dad and my brother crying at my grave and visualizing the pain I would leave behind if I actually went through with it.
And then at 10 or 13 you tried again? Or
Age 8 I thought about it, age 10 I tried.
Okay.
I was depressed up until basically age 12, 13. And from then on, I had some light bulbs go on in my mind and my heart about life.
Okay. Were your parents real religious?
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, my dad, I'm a PK, right? I'm a pastor's kid. And so I would hear...
Oh, so your father's a pastor.
Yeah.
Then I'd say you're
pretty religious,
pretty
right?
religious,
Right.
yeah.
So being brought up in a Christian home where you see your dad preaching about how good God is and how much he loves you, yet his own son was born without limbs for no medical reason, it didn't make sense to me. And I was really actually angry at God because I blamed him for my pain. You know, and I love those songs. You know, Jesus loves all the children of the world. And I thought, if he loved me like he loved everyone else, then why did he give me less? And if he is God who can do all things, then where are my arms and legs?
So where are they?
Well, I know for sure they're in heaven. That's for sure. I have a pair of shoes in my closet today just in case he says yes. I really do believe in the power of the supernatural, and I have seen 11 blind people seeing, deaf people hearing, lame people walking. In my travels of 44 countries, I've seen a lot of cool stuff. But today I'm going around with the message of the hope that I found in understanding that it's not always about a circumstance changing, but it's about fulfilling the perfect plan that was destined for your life in the beginning of time.
A lot of people don't understand that.
Yep.
We watched as a family Butterfly Circus, which is tremendous, just tremendous. And it is how many people here have seen it, Butterfly Circus? Anybody? Go home and watch it. You can find it on YouTube. Go home and watch it. It's about 25 minutes.
22?
22 minutes. And it is the story of a freak show. And the way circuses and the way things used to be back around the Great Depression. In fact, do we have the scene? Can we play the... Here is the scene where the guy who runs the Butterfly Circus finds Nick at the circus. Watch.
You are magnificent.
Hey, get away from him!
What's the matter with you? It's all right. No harm in it. My fault. Maybe I got a little too close. Hey, friend? You have a good evening now.
So he finds you in the circus where you are just being used as a freak.
Yep.
To entertain, and people are mocking and ridiculing you for entertainment. And he finds you, and you find your way into the back of his truck because you know who he is. He runs a different kind of circus,
right,
without a freak show.
Right.
And he teaches you, or he allows you to find who you really are.
Yeah.
The metaphor is quite divine. The message was very, very clear, even to my little kids, and very uplifting. Go home and watch it. We talked afterwards, and we wondered how anyone could ever complain around you. and how anyone around you could see their trials as anything other than easy and a gift. Because you believe what's happened to you is in a way a gift, right?
What the enemy tried to use for bad, God turned into good. And a lot of people have that perspective of what you just said. However, there is no hope in comparing each other's sufferings. I mean, I'm thinking of the 9-year-old kid whose mum and dad just divorced this year and who's going to have Christmas without mum and dad under the same roof. Brokenness is brokenness, pain is pain. And I think the fear of being alone is the worst disability anyone can ever experience. So what I do is I never say, hey, don't complain, hey, you're not going through anything. Far from that, but know that there is hope. And if you have your faith, friends and family around, you can see what beautiful things can come out of broken pieces if you give them a chance.
Back in just a second.